Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. So we just finished off the shape-shifting tree of the Druid, and we're moving on to the summoning tree. I've actually already done videos on the Ravens, the Spirit Wolf, the Summoned Dire Wolf, the Grizzly, and the Oak Sage, so if you want to check those out, they're already live. However, today we're going to be going over the Heart of the Wolverine. The Heart of the Wolverine is one of the three spirit sages, I believe is what they're called, or spirits. I think it's just spirits that you can summon. Obviously, you can have the Oak Sage. The Oak Sage is a very nice bonus to your life and your ridiculous amount of life bonus, by the way. Spirit of the Wolverine is kind of the exact opposite. So while Oak Sage gives you a massive bonus to your life, Heart of the Wolverine is going to give you a massive bonus to your attack rating and your damage output. Think of it very similarly to Fanaticism, except it does increase your attack speed. Now, Heart of the Wolverine does have life, which means that it can die. However, it can be resummoned pretty much whenever you want to. So you just got to make sure that you keep him up. A little bit of micromanaging. He does come in handy to kind of distract monsters, though, every now and then. And it's actually worth noting that when you're in a serious fight and you have the Heart of the Wolverine floating around, sometimes it can distract two or three of the monsters away from you, buying you a little bit of time to actually dish out the damage that you want. And in combination with maybe, a bear, a mercenary, maybe even one of the vines over here, you can have quite a few distracting targets which can separate out the monsters. Obviously, if you have like 20 monsters and they're all attacking you, then that's 20 monsters that are all, applying damage directly to your hit point pool. But if you've got, like 4 or 5 various little summons here and there, including the Heart of the Wolverine, it can be very interesting to have those, distracting the monsters away from you so that you, instead of getting hit by 20, maybe you're just getting hit by 10 of the monsters. And so, maybe you can handle 10, but you can't handle 20. And it's nice to have a distraction, and of course he can be desummoned anytime you want to, or he can be killed and resummoned. To be honest with you, micromanaging him isn't really all that hard. It is unfortunate that he dies so easily. I really wish they would like double the HP on these guys, because quite honestly, they're just not quite as tanky as they should be. But they do get affected by auras and other abilities. So if you do have, like, for instance, Barbarian Shouts, Paladin auras, maybe Defiance, or any of those other things, they can actually be affected by auras, which can make them tankier or stronger or give them more life. Like if you have another Druid running an Oak Sage, the Oak Sage will actually affect the Heart of the Wolverine and beef up the amount of life that has. They do have a drain effectiveness of 0, which means they can be life leeched from fairly easily. They can be chilled very badly. They have a chill effectiveness of negative 50%. They also have resistances, believe it or not. They have 25% magic, 25% fire, 25% lightning, and 25% cold resistance. And they are 200% resistance to poison. So your Sage, your Heart of the Wolverine, and your Spirits, I'm pretty sure they're usually like completely immune to poison. They also cannot be knocked back, which is also kind of interesting. Not really sure why that is, but they cannot be knocked back. This, of course, is an aura. It functions as an aura, very similar to the way that the Paladin auras work. And because it is an aura, this means that it cannot be applied multiple times. So, for instance, if you have I'm trying to think here right off the top of my head. Let's say that you have another Druid in the same group, and he is also using Heart of the Wolverine. It follows the similar rules to auras, which is the highest level aura is the only one that is active, and it will deactivate the other lower level aura. In this particular case, as you can see, I have 52-yard radius on this ability, which means it's going to override any lower Heart of the Wolverine within 52 yards. It does have a 952 life right now, attack rating of 193%, and a damage bonus of 188%. Now, it's important to note that this damage bonus is off-weapon ED. Off-weapon ED, all sources of off-weapon ED stack. They do not work cumulatively. You know, like for instance, some of you may have at some point thought to yourself, well, you know, I'm doing 100 damage, and you know, my Fury ability, it says that it gives me 100% damage, so that's plus 100% damage from Fury, right? And then my Heart of the Wolverine says it's giving me 188% damage, so that's plus 188%, right? So now I'm dishing out 576. No, it doesn't work that way. How it works is all forms of bonus damage are cumulatively added together as a total. So, for instance, if you have 100% from your Fury and you have the the what is it? 188% from your Heart of the Wolverine, then you've got 100 plus your 188, which equals 288. And then you take your 100, which is your base damage, and you add 288% to it. Now, it doesn't actually work exactly that way. God bless it. But it will... Why did it not do percentages? But it will add all of your percentages together. So 288% of 100 is going to give me 388, not 576. Now, it's not the exact calculation, but you can actually see that happen. It's also important to note that Heart of the Wolverine doesn't increase any kind of damage other than physical. So if you don't have, if you're using things like, you know, like Fire Claws, for instance, which has fire damage, Heart of the Wolverine will increase the physical damage component of Fire Claws, but not the fire damage component. And what is the physical damage component of Fire Claws? It's basically just your regular attack. Now, as you can see right now, I have some lightning damage on my attack. It's yellow. Yellow indicates lightning damage. So where is that lightning damage coming from? I can take a look at my equipment. Looks like I have 1 to 30 on my High Lords. So if I take off High Lords, now my damage is white. So now I know exactly how much damage I've got on my character. Of course, this is not the base, though, because I'm getting modified by other effects, like, for instance... or actually, Heart of the Wolverine isn't modifying me because I'm in town. When I'm outside of town, you can see that I'm getting the effect from Heart of the Wolverine. And then on top of that, if I put points into Fury down here, and I pull my Fury ability up, you'll notice that my damage goes up even higher. And you can compare that directly to the base attack. So the Fury damage is being added on top of the Heart of the Wolverine damage, which is giving me even more. If I were to desummon my Heart of the Wolverine real quick. You can see the base damage numbers for both. So 1,994 is my base damage, 2,707 is my Fury damage, and then by adding in the Heart of the Wolverine, then I get that extra 181% damage, which brings me up to 3,346. And all of that is just stacking on top of each other. Now, it's also important to note that things like laying of hands do not get represented on the character panel. They never get represented on the character panel. So that 350% damage to demons is also off-weapon ED and also adds on when you attack a demon. So, for instance, if I go back to my main attack here, which is currently 1,994, it would not just be 202% from Fury and 181% from Heart of the Wolverine. Now, whenever I attack a demon, because I also have the Laying of Hands modifier in here, you add all of them together. So now it's 350 plus the 202 plus the 181 for a total of 733%. And as you can see, every source of off-weapon ED you have gets added into this. So Fortitude is also giving me 300%. So that's plus 300 there. So we have 1,033. And since we didn't take that into account earlier when we were looking at our base damage, now we have to take that off as well. So to find our base damage, we have to remove every form of bonus damage that we have before we add up the number to find out how much damage we could potentially do. So our character panel is showing us the correct number. So according to this, our character panel says we have 935 base damage, essentially, on our top end. We put our Fortitude on, that's 300%. We put our ability on, Fury, now we've got an extra 200%. We throw our Heart of the Wolverine up, and now we've got our extra 181%, and our meager little 900 damage quickly turns into 3,346. Heart of the Wolverine, though, is definitely the more offensive choice as opposed to a defensive choice. So if you're specifically going for the highest damage output that you possibly can, Heart of the Wolverine is definitely the choice. Oak Sage definitely gives you a stronger character, a much more tankier character. And I'm gonna lay some thick, deep experience knowledge on you guys for this. And this comes down to the choice of which one you should pick. Oak Sage is for the Wolverine, for the werewolf. I would probably not use Heart of the Wolverine for the werewolf, and I'm going to tell you why. The werewolf has no defensive bonus capability. When you build a werewolf, unless you have Fortitude, like I have right now, unless you have Fortitude, there is no way to increase your defense past a certain percentage. You are stuck with the base defense that your character is capable of. This is a werewolf druid that I recently did in solo self-found, and he has 1,145 defense. It's god-awful. Everything in the world will hit him, and he really needs the Oak Sage to increase his HP to make it so that he can actually survive, because everything hits him. He's like a raw sponge, and there's nothing he can do about it. There is no way for him to increase his defensive capability within the realm of the werewolf, and he has no way to increase his defensive capability here, and he has no way to increase his defensive ability here. He is basically just a raw sponge that allows him to just take every single hit that is dished to him. Anytime a monster tries to hit him, it is almost guaranteed to land. And so the werewolf is just one of those characters that just really needs the extra life from the Oak Sage to become tanky enough. The bear, on the other hand, which does not need the life, because number one, he already gets a larger amount of life, base life, than the werewolf does. So as you can see, the werewolf is 140% max life, and the bear is 190. And on top of that, the bear also gets a pretty massive, ridiculous defense bump when he's capped out, which means that the bear has an actual natural way to increase the defensive capability of his character. So like if I go over here and take a look at our bear, the bear can actually reach some pretty crazy defense numbers relatively easily. Right now, as you can see, I'm only 2,135 base defense, which is relatively nothing. Transforming into the bear form gets me 8,326. And if I go and trigger the Fortitude effect, which is the chilling armor proc, I can stack that on top of my bear form, and I can get a very nice secondary defense bump, which is going to bring me up even further. And now you can see I am at 12,297 defense, which is pretty crazy, right? This particular character has the ability to be defensive, which means that the Heart of the Wolverine is actually pretty nice for this particular character, because he can utilize the Heart of the Wolverine very easily to stay alive in terms of his damage output. And I know I just died there, but that's because I wasn't. I was just being stupid. Give me my body back. No. Let's see how many times it takes me to get my body back. This will be fun. I'm going to go into my bear form, so I'm a little bit tankier. I also can't be interrupted when I'm in my bear form, so I might actually be able to make it. Give me the bird! And we're going to use our hunger ability so that we can steal back all our life. I just did the video on this, by the way. I didn't have my maul ability actually on an attack, so I couldn't actually hit anything. Go ahead and get our extra DPS here. I will bite all of you. Bite, 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 bite. As you can see, my Wolverine died relatively quickly here because he was distracting the monsters away from me. I swear sometimes it seems like the monsters are specifically targeting the Heart of the Wolverine or the Oak Sage. It seems like they go after him specifically, which is pretty rude. So it's my personal opinion that I feel like the Oak Sage is really kind of like almost made for the werewolf because the werewolf needs that tankiness to survive. And the Heart of the Wolverine seems to be more for the bear. Now, granted, you can go with the Oak Sage for the bear, and in doing so, you're going to make the bear even tankier than they ever were before, and bring your HP level to an insane amount. But I do feel like the Heart of the Wolverine fits better with the bear, just simply because the bear is already tanky. The bear can already take large numbers of hits. He doesn't necessarily need the HP bonus that you get from Oak Sage, whereas the werewolf really does. And having a little bit of extra damage, having a little bit of extra attack rating on the werewolf is not going to make that huge of a difference if you cannot survive. Whereas the bear, who does have a little bit of an issue actually, killing things, because he doesn't have access to really cool skills like Fury, can actually utilize the Heart of the Wolverine a little bit better because it's going to give him even more damage output. I hope I've kind of like demystified Heart of the Wolverine a little bit, made you understand how the damage buff works. If you are in a group with multiple druids, it's really good if one of you is running, Oak Sage, and another is running Heart of the Wolverine, and maybe even if you have a third druid, have the third one run Spirit of the Barbs, because they don't stack. And if you have 3 druids in the same group, it's very nice to have all 3 of these. In fact, a really cool idea that I just had would be having a group of druids, actually, like all together, and one of them running full Oak Sage, one of them running full Heart of the Wolverine, and one of them running full Spirit of the Barbs. Maybe even have like 3 summon druids, like 3 full summon druids with all 3 maxed out Oak Sage, Heart of the Wolverine, Spirit of the Barbs, and then you can have one be a bear, one be a werewolf, and then maybe even throw in like an elemental druid or something into the mix. I don't know. It could be funny to see how well it works out to have like 3 summon druids in the same group, just like rolling through the game. I think that's pretty much it for Heart of the Wolverine. In fact, I've already talked too much. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just talking about the lowly spirit Heart of the Wolverine. And as always, keep watching.